Honey,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the relationship between science, religion, and the teachings?
Ooh. Well, we assume there's a relationship. There is, though, right?
I think so, because this is a commonly asked question.
Okay.
So if that's a question that's out there, more than likely there's some kind of relationship between them.
Well, here's the thing, right? If we go
In
back,
my mind.
Right. Now, if we go back a little bit, remember we watched a movie called Agora?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
What do you remember of that? And folks, that's spelled A-G-O-R-A. It's a fascinating movie, actually, because when you look it up, and then we'll go back to you. When we look it up, Agora was supposed to stand for a place that people that have different viewpoints could go and discuss their differing viewpoints without the fear of getting into trouble, without the fear of being attacked.
And most of them were science-based.
Exactly, because it was all based on science versus religion at that time. And that was the one safe place that they could go. The government put this place and said, feel free to come here and discuss whatever your viewpoints are about religion and science. And that's what that movie Agora is all about, A-G-O-R-A. So if you guys want to look that up, you might find it extremely interesting. To me, it was a very interesting, I don't know if you remember.
I remember bits and pieces of it.
What do you remember about it?
I remember the lady who was charting the sun and the planets.
She was a scientist.
She was a scientist. Right. And I remember they would go into these forums with other people and they would discuss these topics and have heated discussions about it, trying to prove one another, but they would use facts, and try to prove different things, especially when it came to religion. Well, how can that be when this is over here, X, Y, Z? And then I just remember the end of the movie where the Christians or whoever they were came in and
Christians.
Yeah, they threw them out and
killed them.
Destroyed the documents.
So Agora was no longer a safe haven.
Right.
Is the point. And that's what this video is about. That if you go back in time, you will see where the Catholic faith, it's more the Catholic Church.
It's a Catholic Church, right?
It's the Catholic Church that's more notorious for that, at least as far as we know, and we're Catholics.
Yes.
But we won't hide this, right?
No, it's history. It's out there.
Right. Where they killed people, imprisoned people, all because they disagreed with the church. Now, what's one of the biggest, one of the biggest reasons the church used to imprison people or kill people back then, based on science? Do you remember?
No.
There was one scientist, I think it was an astronomist, that was imprisoned, house prison, and he died there. He never came out from there because the Catholic Church imprisoned him because he refused to change his statement about whether or not the sun rotated around the earth or the earth rotated around the sun.
That's a good one.
You've never heard about that one?
I have heard about that one as you say it now. I recall it.
Do you recall who the philosopher is? I don't look it up while I'll have you. Okay, what was the thing about rotation about the earth and the sun back then? What was the viewpoint on that?
That the earth revolved around the sun. No, that the sun revolved around the earth and that the moon revolved around the earth.
But where did that come from?
I don't know.
Well, it was a Catholic Church that put that statement out. It was a Catholic Church that said that the sun revolved around the earth.
Okay.
And then, I'm looking it up now.
He's looking it up online as we speak. So we pause for a little station identification. You are watching a YouTube channel, 190 Vision.
So here we go, right? Copernicus is he's the astronomist that came out. So here's the Catholic Church. They made the statement, the sun rotates around the earth. And Copernicus comes out with scientific facts, scientific evidence that was incorrect, that it's the earth that rotates around the sun. And they went and arrested him and told him that if he didn't make a public statement to correct his view, that they would kill him. And he refused. They didn't kill him, they put him in prison, and he died. He was never released, he died there because he refused to recant his statement that from his proof that the earth rotated around the sun and not the other way around, which is what the Catholic Church put out there publicly.
So then is the relationship between science and religion that the religious groups would tell people what to believe?
At that time.
And then that was it? There's no relationship really between science and religion?
No.
It was just what the churches wanted people to believe?
At that time, but if you notice, there's still a relationship, because what the church was doing was it was putting out information without scientific fact.
Okay.
And then once the scientists produced the facts, the church would refuse to recant their statement. And so then the scientists would be the ones that are in trouble. They want to kill them, they want to arrest them. Mm-hmm. And that sets science back big time. So how does it work now? Well, a lot of times now, that's why now the church has backed up. But what do they know about science, really?
Nothing that I know of.
Right? But they thought they were so powerful that they could do something like that.
Right, but I do know that they do a lot of fact checking now, and they do a lot of research and a lot of in-depth studies on things now.
So they've learned from that, right?
Yes.
And remember, they've gone the other way, where something could be obvious and they still want to go and research it. And it still takes them years to prove that it's correct, which is good.
Verify it again.
Right. So here's the thing now. So it's the other way around now, for the most part, where you have the church, for example, when you read the Bible, you read all these different stories, okay? Like about the Garden of Eden, about Mount Sinai. And then later on...
About the giants.
Right. And then later on, they show proof. Oh, giants did exist, and here are these skeletons that are found in different parts of the U.S.
Around the world.
I'm not even talking about the world, I'm talking about the U.S., right? Where I stress the U.S. because I could never imagine giants being in the U.S. I really couldn't imagine. And when I saw that documentary, I'm like, wow, in the U.S. You know, and these were very large giants. You don't hear about those things, but they did exist. So science comes and then proves that, okay, what's written in the Bible is correct. Now, just because maybe to this day some things haven't been proven, doesn't mean that it's not accurate, right? But a lot of it has been proven. So that's the religion part. How does it apply to the spiritual aspect? I love the spiritual aspect because, first of all, with the religious aspect, it's more archaeology. Okay, they're going and they're digging for things to prove.
Forensic type science.
Exactly. That's the bingo. It's forensic science, right? To prove religion, because people want to see proof. On the spiritual side, you don't need forensics. You have regular, simple, scientific experiments that are done in the labs to prove that these things do happen. For example, we know, we've done this many times, that you can charge water, right?
Right.
And you can charge it for healing. You can charge it so that your water tastes fresh all the time. You can take out all the impurities out of the water. You know that? Have we tested that here? Have we proven it?
We have.
How have we done it?
You've charged the water, or had the water charged, and then we had the kids get bottled water and then filtered water from the refrigerator and just regular tap water, and then we tested each of the waters through taste test and through other energy experiments to see what the difference is between them.
Okay. Could you tell the difference?
Yes.
How else have we done it? You've done this one with the soccer kids. Or was that me?
That must have been you.
Didn't you tell me that you put water, well, they drank the water, the charged water from here. We've taken charged water. Huh?
You did that.
Oh, I did that. Oh, okay. I did that, folks. I thought it was my wife. And then, but I didn't do it on purpose. You know, I took it from me to drink.
Right.
But then the kids got thirsty, and I said, "Oh, I have water over there," which I hadn't drank. And they took it and drank it, and they're like, oh, this water tastes fresh.
All of a sudden they had this burst of energy.
Exactly. And they would just run and never get tired, right? And after the game, they're like, Coach, could I have some more of that water?
That's the most refreshing water I've ever tasted, Coach.
Exactly.
Where do you get your water from? What brand do you buy?
And to this day, they believe that it's a brand of water. I mean,
They do.
They come to the house, they fill up the containers.
And they'll ask, what brand is this?
Yeah.
It's no specific brand.
Right. So those are the type of experiments that we can run to prove that the things that are done on a spiritual level are real.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have forensic evidence.
Right. Well, even when there's an instant healing that's done on someone, when you happen to be near someone physically, even when you haven't been around someone physically and we get the report right away, oh my gosh, everything is gone. This is cleared up. What happened? I mean, that...
Oh, that's right. That's not even a test
No.
at that point. It's just instant proof, I guess.
Yes.
You know? So that's science. Now somebody might disagree with that, but with all the documentation you have and how you write things out on this date, this was done, this date, this was
This
done.
date, this time.
Exactly. We have scientific proof, or we have proof, data. We have data, when it was done, what was found, what was done to correct it, and how quickly we got the feedback that it was corrected. We have that evidence.
We do.
Well, so that's the beauty of the spiritual work that we do, that we can get results faster than trying to dig up archaeological evidence. Science on a whole has proven a lot of things. You know, they have so many experiments that have been done to show that what happens in the spiritual realm actually works. And we could go into a lot of those, but just telling a story doesn't help, I don't think.
Right.
People have to experience it themselves. But there's so many stories. You know, I know, well, just like the other day, we had, well, I won't even spend time on that. You know?
Okay, so a science thing that people can see and watch regularly on TV are these paranormal shows where people go into these so-called haunted buildings and they're able to pick up voices on
Right.
recordings, spirits moving through the air on camera, things like that. So those are, to me, that's scientific proof right there
Okay.
that these things exist in the spiritual world.
What exists?
The spiritual world exists and that these spirits can come through because they talk and they record it.
Oh, is that what they're referring to? I thought they were talking about, so we know those exist,
We do.
but I thought you were asking for proof from what we do, is what I thought it was. Or is it just science in a whole?
What is the relationship between science, religion, and the teachings?
Okay, well, let's go.
Or spirituality is what the teachings are. We
Right.
call spirituality.
So let's go back to this. With the science part and spirituality, it goes back to we work on the energy level.
Right.
Everything is about frequency. That's what I wanted to say. Right. So for individuals to see the effects of that, we could run a lot of experiments. Someone ran an experiment where they took two tomatoes, and they had water, right? Regular water, and they took water from the tap in 2 glasses. They left one glass of water alone untouched, and then they charged the other one. Then they energized it. Then they took a tomato and put in each glass of water for a day. They just soaked them in the water. And then after that, left them out on a dish to see how long it would take them before they rotted. The tomato that was put in the charged water, energized water, lasted, I think, over a month and something before it started to rot. The other one, after 3 days, it rotted. Okay? How do you explain that? Obviously something happened with the water that was charged for it to be able to do that to a tomato, where it preserved the tomato that long, while the regular water, within 3 days, it was gone.
And then there are a lot of experiments you can look at on YouTube that have been done. I forgot the name of the Japanese scientist, but he's the one who took water and froze it. He would speak to the water and then he froze it, and you could actually see what happens with different words, just the frequency of the one word that was repeated to that water specimen
Like
for so
love,
many days
right.
or weeks.
Exactly.
Yes.
Positive words and negative words.
Exactly. So there again is the power of frequency and how it can affect things. And even just taking that same water that you may have said anger to for so many days or whatever, and then just turning around and saying love, happiness, or whatever words that are positive like that, and the water did change. So you can find those on YouTube though.
But the best proof of science is not even looking at those, it's to see how it applies to you.
Right.
Because you can read up on all that and you say, oh, that's neat. But when you experience it yourself, and that's the difference between the teachings and the science and religion. Because the teachings, the Ascended Masters encourage us to experience things.
Do it yourself.
With the teachings, it's all about you having the experience yourself. So here's religion. They tell you to have faith. You must believe, right? Science says, give me proof. And then the teaching says, we will give you the tool, and we will show you how you can get the proof yourself. We want you to ask questions. We want you to ask why. We encourage you to do that because that's the way you learn. Religion says, don't ask why, because when you do that, you're a bad follower. The teaching says, ask questions, because the only way you can become a good follower is if you really, really know. Not believe, but you have proof. And then science says, give me proof. So to me, the teaching is a combination of religion, the best of religion and science. Get it? Because, and I said the best, because the teaching will never tell you not to ask questions.
Right.
The Ascended Masters encourage you to ask questions, right? Not questions like, why am I stupid, right? Not negative stuff. But for example, how does this work? You know, what happens when this takes place? You know,
how can I do this for myself?
That's correct. You know, empowerment questions. There we go. More empowerment question. So, now if you want to find out if, for example, if God is real, is God really real? You know, does spiritual healing really take place? See, these are good questions. Those are not, as I said earlier, ridiculous questions. These are very good questions. The Ascended Masters are more than happy to help you with that. So what do? Reach out to us, and then we'll do work on you, and then prove to yourself if it works for you. What other proof could you ever have? Now, we don't know how it's going to change your life, but I can guarantee you it will. You'll know, you'll feel the difference. All the people that have contacted us, they feel a difference, believe me. And when you feel that, nobody can tell you that God doesn't exist after that. And if you didn't believe that, if you don't believe right now that God exists, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And if you call yourself atheist with 3 A's before the rest of it, you're like, atheist, that's okay. Just reach out to us and let us prove to you that God exists. And I can guarantee you that when we're done with you, and not us, the angels and God, you'll be like, okay, you'll have to be really stubborn to not admit that you actually felt that something changed in you by the time we're done. To me, that's scientific proof there, because we can't go there. We don't know where you are. It's not like we can go there and
we don't ever meet anyone in person. Make sure that that's clear.
Right?
Everything is done remotely.
Most people don't even know what I look like.
Yes, no one really does.
They know what you look like, right? But they don't know what I look like. Yet still, their lives are being improved. Their lives are being impacted one way or the other. It's because they have proof that God is there taking care of them. And it doesn't matter what religion they happen to be part of. Because the religion doesn't matter. What matters is being spiritual. It's spirituality that matters. Unconditional love. Right? God doesn't go like this. Well, you are a Catholic. You follow Jesus. So, okay, I'll take care of you. Oh, wait a minute. You're Hindu. You don't follow Jesus. We're not helping you today. We only help the followers of Jesus. Only if you're a Christian. They don't do that, right?
They don't.
Because it's spirituality. It's not religion-based. So, I challenge anybody. To just fill out that form, send it to us, and let's prove to you that spirituality exists and that it will change your life. in a good way. And that to me is proof. I say if you want hard proof, or like say hardcore proof, we can give it to you because it's going to impact your life. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See for yourself.
So to me, that's the best way I can answer that. I don't know about you. Maybe
yes.
I'm becoming a rebel.
Well.
What do you think?
I think you're just doing what you feel is right. I'm not going to put a label on it because that is a different perspective.
What do you mean you're going to put a label on it? What does that mean? So
why label things? Everybody labels things in this world. Why label it? You're just advocating.
No, not everybody labels things. Only in America do I see a label. I see they label things all the time.
If you're from another country, please let us know if things are labeled.
Well, things are labeled. For example, there'll be a label for flour, one for rice.
Stop. Label like is in people have a general idea of what something is like, and then it gets a label. Boom, that person is this, and that's the only way it is.
You mean judging?
Yes, judging. It's labeling.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, getting off topic.
Are you judging what I was saying?
If you want to get some...
Wait. Are you judging what I was saying?
I'm not judging what you're saying. I'm saying I don't want to judge what you're saying, and I don't want to put a label on it. You said rebel. Well, I don't think you're rebelling. I don't think you're a rebel. So I wouldn't say that about you and what you're doing.
Because you're my wife.
So if you really want to take up this challenge, go to our website, 190vision.com, go to downloads, download the consent form, fill it out, sign it, send it back to us with your headshot of yourself, and let's see what can happen for you.
Right. No, let's not see what can happen. Let's see how they will get changed, how their life will improve, because we know it will. What are the proof?
Well, what if they resist the change and it doesn't happen, just to try and prove you wrong?
Have you ever seen that? We've had people.
No, everybody has felt the differences.
Right. They can try as hard as they want to. Yes. I'm not going to get help. They can do that. Someone should actually put that there, right? When they fill out the form. I will resist 100%. Let me see them resist Archangel Michael. You'll slap them left and right.
Fool!
Yeah,
come
exactly.
on.
But let's see.
All right. So
take us up on that. That's the challenge. I would like people to take us up on that.
Okay. Hopefully this video has explained to you the relationship between science, religion, and the teachings, or what we call spirituality.
Right.
If you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to be sure and comment or send us a message. And if you think this video can help someone else, share it. On YouTube, Instagram, and our website, you can find us at 190vision or 190vision.com. And then on Facebook, we have a group called Clearing, Healing, and Guidance.